David Christensen 4th, Proctor and Fodiardis on the 3rd row, Baz Davison on the 4th, Zamora and Craig Schultz round out the top 10. Then 11, we got Mark Cochran, Dave Oliver from 12, Aidan Schultz 13, Daniel Snedden, 13, Mark Cochran 14, Philip Butler 15, Aidan Schultz the 16th, Liam Baird 17, Joe Baldwin, Dan Newdorf and Aaron Bryan rounding out the 20 car field tonight. As Matt Distill on pole has controlled the field already as the safety car is in, and it looks like he's already gone, and we're away in racing here at the Red Bull Ring, and it's line of stone for the front 2 rows almost immediately. 2 by 2 for the rest of the field as we come into the first corner. Distill leads from Noble, Grotch, Fodiardis and Proctor as they come out of the first corner and down up the hill now into turn 3. Line of stern, no one really getting a run. The LMP2 doesn't have the strongest draft, but we'll be interested to see how that develops as the race goes on. In the midfield though, they are all side by side as Noble gets a bit loose there on the exit of turn 3, losing out to Distill, who's already out to half a second lead over Brandon Groach, coming down into turn 4 now. Groach not close enough to have a look, however. This is the middle of the pack. This is Daniel Snadden. Now he's racing with Aidan Schultz, Joe Baldwin just ahead of both of them, and behind is Aaron Bryan and Phil Butler. They're side by side, or they were side by side, coming down the hill. So single file, they've all sorted themselves out pretty quickly here, coming towards the end of the first turn as Chris Noble's really pulled up onto the back of Matt Distill now. Brendan Groach there, about 3/4 of a second off the lead of the race. Chris Noble very wide through the last corner there. He'll definitely get an off track for that. And as a result, he's dropped back a little bit from Matt Distill at the front. As they complete lap 1 already. And the top 3 breaking away a little bit. Nick Fodiardis about a second off Brendan Groach at the moment. But that mistake from Chris Noble at the end of the first lap has given Matt Distill a little bit of breathing space at the front. It looks like Dale Jeffries and Rado Zamora having a bit of a battle at the end of the top 10. Here's Joe Baldwin now. He's right in the draft of Rado Zamora coming down into turn 4. Not quite close enough to make a move down the hill. Very hard to make a move into turn 4 as we've... Oh no, Rado Zamora's back. We just lost him briefly there.
Internet dramas, who has those?
Sorry if the pitch is a bit choppy. I think Harold's still having some internet dramas. Okay, it delayed a little bit on my end, that's all. So Joe Baldwin here in behind Eduardo Zamora. Zamora very wide through the penultimate corner there. But he's pulled out about half a second now over Joe Baldwin. The thing with the Red Bull Ring though, very easy to draft back up to people with these long flowing straights. Here's the battle for second place now. Brandon Groach on the inside of Chris Noble. He's got the move done on the brakes there and does hold it on the exit as well. Gets a good drive. It's going to be hard for Chris Noble to come back at him into turn 4 here. He's going to have the draft. He's still only 2/10 back. He's not quite going to be close enough to be able to come back at the Frog Juice Leap Racing number 727 car. But this battling the second place is like Matt Distill out to a 1.5 second lead now over Groach. And Noble sitting right behind now. And then a further 1.5 seconds back to Nick Fodiardis. And then Adam Proctor still in 5th. That's where he started. Troy Davison now, he's got Craig Schultz and Dave Oliver for company. This is the battle for 7th at the moment. On board with Schultz now coming into the penultimate corner. Thought Schultz might have had a better run there coming out the last corner with how much Troy Davison decided to attack it. Opposite happens at turn 1. Schultz gets a much better run through the middle of the corner. Might have actually caught him, been caught off guard there by Troy Davison's speed through the apex of turn 1. Not quite going to be close enough to try and outbrake the number 023 into turn 3. It's just behind them there. Is that, looks like it might be Mark Cochran or Rado Zamora was slow on the exit of turn 3 there. Indeed it was Rado Zamora. Oh, Craig Schultz, bit of a slide there at the turn-in point for turn 4. Loses him time to Troy Davison and is very much now in the sights of Dave Oliver.
Oh, Troy's going way wide.
Davison's off. Oh, the rejoin as well. It was just alright.
Questionable rejoin there. Very lucky to not clip the back of Dave Oliver there.
Yes, he timed it well. Dave Oliver now is all of a sudden P8 and looking at the back of P7 with Craig Schultz just ahead, and it looks like Dave Oliver's much more comfortable at the moment than Craig Schultz. Maybe Craig Schultz overheating the rear of the tyres a little bit too much in turn 4 the previous lap when he was trying to get past Troy Davison. He's now at the back of this train after his mistake last lap that we saw. Dave Oliver now all over the back of Craig Schultz coming up into turn 3. Will he has a look, but not close enough to make the move. Let's see if he can. Doesn't quite get the exit that he would have wanted over Craig Schultz. So it's going to be hard for him as here's David Christensen alongside Aaron Bryan. He was up the inside in turn 3, but Bryan getting the run out of turn on the outside. And just coming across just the cover from David Christensen, but he's gone deep. He's gone way too deep. And it's going to open the door on the exit. And now we're going to go side by side again through 6 and into 7. Bryan was going to have the inside, but Christensen had enough momentum to clear him by the corner and will get 16th eventually. Probably a little bit later than he wanted to, but he has got the job done.
Yeah, that's one he sort of got the job mostly done, then unfortunately went pairs up, so he thought he had to do all the work again, but then Aaron had all the defensive work, got the job done there, then threw it away himself and gave the position. So it's one of those things, you take one hand, give it the other.
So I don't know what happened to David Christensen, but apparently he started 4th and he's down 12, so I don't know what happened there.
I'm guessing he started from the pit lane, because I don't think I saw him on the grid.
That would explain that. So
yeah, he did. I've got on the telemetry here. It says pit lane start 0. So he's missed the start and started from pit lane.
So the next one on the list for him will be Daniel Snedden in 15th. He's 2 seconds up the road. This is the battle for second. Groach still holding on to second from Chris Noble after we saw Groach take the position a couple of laps ago. The gap's kind of stabilising at the front though. Between Distill and Groach, it's sitting about 1.5, 1.7 seconds between first and second, and Noble still sitting there as well in behind the 727. The top 3 seem to be pretty comfortable with where they are and just running to a pace at the moment. This is Adam Proctor. He's all over the back of Nick Feriadis at the moment, and just behind him is David Baz as well. So this is another 3-car battle now for 4th position.
So over the past week, Nick's made a slight alteration to his livery, added a bit more colour. He was saying there's too many blue cars in the grid, so he's giving himself a bit of a red and yellow flash just to try and make himself stand out a bit better. And he's found himself in the top 5. So lick of paint, give him some speed.
It does indeed. I wish I could do that, and that would work because it doesn't normally work for me. As Proctor doesn't really get the good run out of 3. David Baz right underneath. Will he have a look? He will have a look into 4 and pulls off the outbraking maneuver. Has he gone too deep? Yes, he has, and around goes David Baz. And he has recovered. It looks like Craig Schultz. I wonder if Craig Schultz and Dave Oliver might have had to ease up there to take avoiding action. Here's the replay now. We knew he was close. David Baz pulls out, goes for the move, just too deep, locks the inside front, and it rotates him around. And then, yeah.
It's a fundamental. It's a fundamental thing with this car because it's got so much. What's going on here?
Ooh. Have we lost the server? Adam, leave us. Oh no, we're back. There we go.
Just didn't do the live thing. Hang on.
There we go.
That was my mistake. Yeah, so it's a fundamental flaw with this car is with it being a high downforce platform, and a lot of the downforce is based on the underbody. The biggest thing is that as you go into a slow corner speed, as soon as you get down to about second or first gear in this thing, it's got fairly tall gearing, so you do use first gear a lot. But once you get down to those first or second gear corners, the rear end gets very, very light, and it's very easy to lock it up and loop it just like David Baz did there, especially when you push too hard into a corner like that.
Yes, it's been a while since I've driven this car, but in my experience, it's in low speed, it's not very nice to drive, as any prototype would be. We've had our first official or scheduled pit stop of the race. Dave Oliver pitting at the end of lap 7. 10 second, or just under a 10-second stop for him. He's rejoined 19th, just ahead of Dane Northdorf. He's got 5 seconds up to Liam Brad. Does Dave Oliver. So Joe Ball, Daniel Snadden here. He's got David Christensen, who qualified P4 but started from the pit lane. He's got him for company on his recovery drive, and Christensen gets a great run here at the last corner. This will be done by the first corner for sure. As just to the right, we've got Errado Zamora making his pit stop as Christensen now goes through to 13th on the recovery drive from the pit lane. Doesn't get the great exit though. Snadden does have some overlap here, and he's going to have a look into turn 3 up the hill.
I'm surprised Davo didn't cover this off. Oh, he's got it.
Oh, I thought Snadden might have outbroken himself just a little bit there. As here's David Baz and Craig Schultz. This is the battle for 6th right now. David Baz doesn't outbreak himself this time around like he did a couple of laps ago. And he'll be on the outside though for... Oh! So David Baz going around the outside, and I think he gave Craig Schultz enough room there. I think Craig just understeered into the side of him, and as a result, he's gone around.
Yeah, it's a weird physics thing with iRacing, where the inside car seems to come off second best in those sort of situations. But yeah, but unfortunately, because he's lifting off at the same time, so the back's all light, and it's just pendulum around. But he'll get his head down and try and get those spots back now.
Big setup for this series, we need to remember as well. And if I remember the fixed setup from the Sprint series in officials, which is the same setup that these guys are using, it's not the greatest set in terms of rotation. And I think Craig Schultz just finding that out the hard way there. Back up at the front now. Distills extended his lead to about 1.9 seconds now over Groach. Noble still sitting there in 3rd position at the moment. Probably playing a bit of a strategy game now, just saving fuel behind Groach. Looks like Joe Baldwin and Mark Cochrane are in close proximity as well. That's for 8th position. Joe looks like he just had to defend into turn 4 there, but got a good run out through 5, and we'll keep 8th position for now. They've got Aiden Schultz and Dale Jeffries not too far behind either in this battle, and the recovering David Christensen, who's making his way through the field after starting from the pit lane. Another fastest lap of the race for Matt Distill at 1:20.677. A 10th and a half quicker than Brendan Groach behind. And Noble still sitting there as well, about half a second off Groach.
It's surprising that the Still's got such a distinct advantage this week. It's been very back and forth between the three of those for the last couple of weeks. So definitely interesting to see Matt's this is a very Matt the Still friendly circuit. He's taking full advantage of it. Get some points on the board while Brendan and Chris have to fight it out for second place.
Is it? Oh, I think Joe Baldwin might have just made a mistake at turn 1. I did see some smoke. He's dropped 2 positions to Mark Cochran and Aiden Schultz already, and he's under threat from Dale Jeffries as well.
Knowing Joe and his relations with track limits, it's probably a good chance he had to slow down out of either the first turn or the last turn.
He's recovered to 10th now, though. Dale Jeffries for company, but he had half a look, but not quite close enough. Joe onto the attack of Aiden Schultz already, as he looks like he might have had a little moment on the exit there. Aiden Schultz is got his mirrors full at the moment. 3 LMP2s. We've got Baldwin in behind him. We've got Dale Jeffries in behind him, and David Christensen as well. And actually, not much further behind is Snedden and Craig Schultz as well. So Aiden is about to have a lot of cars up behind him as we go on board with David Christensen. I wonder if any of these guys decide to pit this time around. And whoa, Christensen. So he saw Baldwin and Dale Jeffries go in and decided that he didn't want to go in anymore and stayed out instead.
Well, basically gave him clear track for him. If he's qualified if he knows he has pace, so clear track is king for him. So there's no way he wants to pit behind somebody and gets still stuck behind him on the way out.
Quite a few cars in that lap. Dale Jeffries and Joe Baldwin we saw on the pitches, as well as Craig Schultz and Philip Butler also pitting in. This battle for second, I'm convinced that this is Chris Noble playing the strategy game and the fuel game, and he's just lifting and coasting behind Brendan Gotch at the moment.
Possibly, but this car isn't the greatest fuel saver. It doesn't really save a lot of fuel when you do the lift and coast. It only sort of saves you a little bit. So it's not a big advantage like it is in some other cars like supercars and GT3s and things like those where you can save a bunch.
A very true point with the rather lack of draft because of how efficient these cars are through the air that we see is a long pit stop for Philip Butler there. 25 seconds, so he'll come out in 20th. Oh, big slide. Big slide for Brendan Groach coming out of 1. Will Chris Noble be close enough? He's 3/10, but I don't think he's actually going to be close enough to take advantage of that little mistake from Groach. But these little mistakes and lack of pace from these two is let Matt Distill out to a 3-second lead now as we are a little bit past the halfway point.
Yeah, I believe Butler's probably forgot to turn his tyres off, so he's giving himself some extra tyres and an extra 15 seconds in the lane.
Yes, that's about right. Yes, that's probably what it is.
The other thing we keep an eye on is Red Bull is one of those pit entry tracks where if you touch the green paint, you get slapped over the wrist with a 40-second penalty. So, and it is a very awkward pit entry here with the fast corner into the pit lane, so it is very easy to trigger that. So we'll keep an eye and see if anyone falls foul of the pit entrance gods.
Both ends, to be honest, here are quite tricky.
Because the exit one, the white line just jinks a little bit on you. You got to be careful of it.
And there's also a massive wall waiting for you if you decide to lock up in turn 1.
Or just go too fast.
Or just go too fast, yes. So, a very tricky pit lane here tonight for the LMP2 drivers. Our highest driver that's made the pit stop so far is Dave Oliver. He's 12th at the moment. And this is Joe Baldwin, who has Craig Schultz accompanied behind and Gerald Jeffries ahead. So, all these guys have made their stop. We saw them all pit a couple of laps ago.
Schultz lost time in the pits. Because he was in front of all these guys before the stops.
No, he had that spin.
Oh, that's right. Yes, that's right. My bad.
So Joe's actually the one that's lost time. He was about 2 seconds slower than these other guys in the pit stop. So he did lose out to Dale Jeffries and David Christensen, who we didn't see. He actually pitted the following lap, and he's actually come out ahead of them. He's still behind Riley Zamora now, as that's Liam Baird on the inside that we saw peeling off there for his pit stop. So this is the battle for 12th position, in behind Dave Oliver, who's the leading car to make their stop. So this is net second place at the moment between Zamora and Christensen. Obviously still a few pit stops to play out. And Christensen had half a look into 3, but didn't want to commit on Zamora. Zamora has decent pace tonight by the looks of it. And Christensen isn't just blowing past like he has the last few cars. As it looks like Joe Baldwin in behind's got past Dale Jeffries for 14th. Well, currently 14th, net third, or net fourth, sorry, at the moment, of the cars that have stopped. As Aaron Bryan is in for his stop. And not much change up at the front. They're still pulling out 3.7 hours. Here comes Christensen on Zamora. This is for P12 at the moment. And Christensen gets it down very cleanly. Zamora takes 2 to tango. Zamora cooperatively not forcing the issue around the outside in the penultimate corner.
Oh, where's Joe going?
Oh, Joe. That was a weird one.
I'm assuming he's... Oh, he got a brand new computer, so he shouldn't have the stutters. I'm not sure what happened there.
Now, my question is, did he make the wall there? Because it looks like he might have a little bit... he's got issues. He's still kind of all over the track. We could see, as in the background, Craig Schultz going around the outside of Dale Jeffries.
Gotcha's in.
Into turn 3 and for 14th. But I could kind of tell in the straight there that Joe's still got some issues, I think. Because he was kind of jinking left and right on the straight. So this is the front straight. So this is the first issue we saw from Joe Baldwin. Is it? Oh, and
it's like he lost vision because he just started fading left. He didn't realize he was on the grass.
Yeah, and if we keep on board here,
sorry.
I don't think. Oh, it's all good. But I think he doesn't do it to the same extent, but did have a similar issue between turns 1 and 3. And well, which one of our leaders has pitted? Photo artist is now 3rd. Is Brendan Groach. He's now 7th as Nick misses his braking point. Locks up the inside right front in turn 4. But Brendan Groach now is 7th and the leader of the pit stop. So he was just in front of Chris Noble. So now we'll see if Chris Noble has any extra pace or how much fuel he was fuel saving as the 2 leaders are in this time by.
So they're losing about 40 seconds in transit time, and currently Groach was 30 seconds behind the lead, and obviously you got to take away whatever time it takes to go down the front straight, so it should be close here between the second and third place guys when they get to the end here.
So Fortiata is getting an extra lap, as does David Baz in the background there, so they're going again. And we've got Distill, he's rolling, here's Groach. So Distill is rolling, and Chris Noble is not, and he's still stationary, and I think he might have given himself a penalty.
Yeah, I think Noble's done it.
Still stationary after 25 seconds. Adam Proctor will jump Chris Noble, as will Dave Oliver, potentially. So here's the onboard from Chris Noble. And is he going to be a bit wide?
Gets a red paint.
Yes, he is. That's a 40-second stop and hold. Thank you very much, Chris Noble. He is rolling. Chris Noble is finally rolling. He will rejoin in 15th position as a result of that penalty. 47 seconds stationary.
It's one of those harsh penalties. It'd be nice if we could adjust those within the league, but unfortunately, that's an iRacing set thing, and we've got no control over that one. And so yeah, it's very hard pill to swallow when you make those very small mistakes.
Especially in a short race like this as well. Absolutely no way you make that time up. As Mark Cochran was on the back of a Rado Zamora into turn 4 there, but it looked up the inside right front and dropped about a second back. As Fadiatis and Baz are both in, we saw them both go the extra lap compared to the leaders. We'll see where they come out now. This is Adam Proctor, and he was racing Nick Fadiatis coming into this pit stop, and I guess he's going to be racing David Baz as well. Baz making a great amount of time in the pit lane. As they both come out, Adam Proctor is not quite close enough. He will have the run into 3, but he's got a lot of ground to make up, and I don't think he's going to get there in time. So Fodiatis takes 3rd at the expense of Chris Noble, who we saw ended up with that 40-second stop and hold for the pit entry violation. and now has David Baz. And Adam Proctor drops back a little bit there. He's about 2 seconds back off Ciders now. He was pretty close to the back to the Aussie Racers car before the pit stop cycles, but so Adam Proctor there losing a bit of time to this little battle pack.
So the other hard pill to swallow for poor old Chris Noble is looking at the pit times. He's the only one who's been done with the penalty. So he's the only one that's got the wrath of a pit lane violation this race, and that's cost him upwards of 12 or 13 spots, which is a very big blow to the championship.
It'll be all about damage limitation now for Chris Noble. He's about a second behind Joe Baldwin at the moment. Still got 5 minutes, so not really that much time to make any positions. He might get 1 or 2 by the end. We'll see how far he gets back up as we ride on board with David Baz into turn 3, all over the back of Nick Fodiadis. David Baz just out braking himself, I think, into the back of Fodiadis. Got a bit spooked, and now he's got Andrew Proctor alongside him down the hill into turn 4. Proctor on the inside. Does Baz have front end damage? As Proctor looks like he kind of just lifted out of that. He didn't want to make the move. For some reason, did Adam Proctor for P4 on David Baz.
Very interesting.
It is. I'm interested in if either of the 99 or the 08 cars have damage from that little bit of contact we saw. Dale Jeffries now, he's on the hill. He was looking at on the outside of Aiden Schultz, but he was going to over under him on the exit of turn 4 now, and he's going to take P12. As Schultz now coming under pressure from Joe Baldwin, and there's Chris Noble as well. So Chris Noble will probably want all 3 of these positions, and he's just got 1 off Aiden Schultz coming through 7 and 8. And now he's going to go for the Joe Baldwin as well, and he's got a run already on Joe Baldwin, coming up into the penultimate corner. He's got the inside. Will he be able to make it sick? Joe's going to try and hang it around the outside here. And I tell you what, I think Joe Baldwin's just about done it. He has just about done.
Unless he gets a slow down.
Oh, no, he went too wide. He went too wide on the exit of the last corner. So Noble's still got his nose in there for turn 1. And here comes Aiden Schultz, going to make it 3 wide. No, he's not. He's going to take... I tell you what, this is pretty impressive. Oh, okay, Joe. Joe, it was impressive around the outside, and then took track limits into his own hands.
Yeah, I was going to say also too for Aiden Schultz, someone called the cops because we just witnessed some mugging.
Oh!
Yeah, Joe's just turned down, and that was a bit silly.
He tried and tried and tried to hold around the outside of Joe Baldwin, and it finally came unstuck against Chris Noble. And Aiden Schultz will say thank you very much and take 13th position back. He does still have Chris Noble to deal with. He's only 3/10 behind. This is the battle for 10th now between Mark Cochran and Craig Schultz. And they've got... That's a Rado Zamora just up ahead as well, but I think these two are too caught up in their own battle to worry about trying to chase down the 226 car.
And Treno with a
228, sorry.
Treno with a very interesting comment there.
It is indeed. Might have to get a replay of that one after the race, Adam, since we've only got 2 minutes left. But
if Joe comes in, we'll have to see what he says.
I'll tell you what else Joe's done. He's in the pit lane again.
Ooh,
so either he's got a meatball, or I'm thinking it might be incident points if he's been a bit...
he has got a bit of car contact and off track, so yeah, there he goes. He's just going to drive through, so he's triggered the incident point limit.
Yes, so I'm going to guess he's been a bit liberal with the track limits throughout the race. It is very easy to get a few off tracks here, as this is the battle for third again now between Fodiadis, Baz, and Andrew Proctor still there. He's about a second off.
Oh, Baz made a mistake.
Baz, massive slide. I think he dipped the right-hand side tyres in the...
Where is he at the fuel?
He's very slow.
I think he's out of fuel, and he just got a pit penalty.
Yep. I wonder, because we've seen David Baz have a couple of issues a couple of contacts. We saw him have that contact with Craig Schultz earlier on as well. So I wonder if he's actually hit the incident limit point as well. As Matt Distill, this will be the last lap, based on the lap times and how much time we have left. It's been a very quiet race for Matt Distill, a very dominant one at that. He's just been running. Oh, David Baz is out of the race now, as we just saw him. I think that might have been after his tour of the pit lane. But Matt Distill, a very quiet race, has had the pace all race, had the right strategy calls, and will come across the line to win round 5 of the LMP Spain Ciders LMP2 challenge here at the Red Bull Ring by over 7 seconds now over Brendan Groach, who will finish in second. And is it still on for third? Nick Ciders is holding on at the moment. He's got half a second over Andrew Proctor, and he will hold on through the final corner to take another podium this season. Proctor just on him in third, and Dale Jeffries, that's Chris Noble going past Dale Jeffries for P11. So that's another position Chris Noble will happily take in terms of his championship. And then the damage limitation for tonight. After that 40-second stop and hold, and he will finish in 11th. And
Dale just got him.
Dale Jeffries just holds on for P12 over Aiden Schultz. And we've just got a couple more finishes. Aaron Bryan, he will finish in 15th. And Joe Baldwin. Oh. So we didn't see that on the broadcast. We only saw this part of it. So something happened there between Chris Noble and Dale Jeffries at the previous corner. I wonder, on the quick look that we saw of it, it looked like the cars kind of got glued together. How iRacing netcode works sometimes. So unfortunate for that, for them. And this is the run to the line between Dale Jeffries and Aiden Schultz. And Dale had half a car length over Aiden, never in doubt. I'm sure Aiden was really willing on to try and get the jump on Dale at the very end there. So Matt Distill wins by 7.2 seconds from Brendan Groach. Nick Ciders will round out the podium. Adam Proctor 4th, and Dave Oliver 5th. David Christensen 6th, Troy Davison 7th, and Rados Morris 8th. Craig Schultz 9th, and Mark Crockman rounding out the top 10, with Chris Noble recovering to 11th after that 40-second stop and hold penalty for the pit entry violation. Dale Jeffries 12th, Aiden Schultz 13th, Daniel Snedden 14th, Aaron Bryan 15th, Joe Baldwin down in 16th, David Baz, Phil Butler, Liam Braid, and Dane Northdorf rounding out the field, all one lap down. So, Adam, before we get into post-race interviews, we've got Matt Distill and Nick Ciders in here with us. Driver of the day, we've got some Spreyton cider to hand out, I believe.
Yeah, there's a few options there. Obviously, Distill Distill is sort of disqualified as he disqualified himself, given it's his own giveaway.
Can't be me.
But very good effort for him tonight. Very convincing and controlling win. Ciders with a podium. It's one of those rare podiums we see for Nick, so he'll be very happy with that. Christensen fluffed the start with starting in pit lane, but then got himself back up into 6th. That's not a bad effort. And then officially most positions gained went to Dave Oller with 6. So there's a few options there for you there, Daniel. It's just a matter of which one do you want to go with.
It's going to seem weird picking David Christensen because at the end of the day he qualified 4th and finished 6th and is -2. So in theory it would look odd picking him, but to come from the pit lane and finish just outside the top 5 is impressive. But I agree. I think Dave Oliver, a great, tidy, quiet race. We did see him in some battles throughout the race with Craig Schultz and David Baz earlier on, but played the strategy right. He was the first car into the lane, got himself some clear air, and